Graduated from a simp, turned into a big boss. Now she see me getting rich, cause I'm about to take off. Yeah, my life is like a movie, this is only take one. Hey, and I ain't got no time for no one with fake love. Where the love go? I don't know, but I need something that's for real. She just want designer, red bottoms in the hills, California. She just want the limelight, gold digger. She gon' see me when the time's right. Heard that little bro was trying to play me. Heard he talking crazy, now he coming to congratulate the kid. I think it's funny how they try to hide the hate and be the first to smile up in your face and show you all this fake love. I can't stand the fake love. Where the love go? Where'd it go? Where the love go? I can't stand the fake love. Where the love go? Where'd it go? I can't show no love, can't show no love. No love from me. Yeah, I can't show nobody fake love, cause I've been in my bag lately, getting cash, baby. So don't you act like you been here from day one. Graduated from a simp, turned into a big boss. Now she see me getting rich, cause I'm about to take off. Yeah, my life is like a movie, this is only take one. Yeah, and I ain't got no time for no one with fake love. Where the love go? Tell me where the love went. She don't care unless it benefits her budget, and I can tell she only in it for the gold. She gon' have to learn to get it on her own. Tell me why the boy was talking on me like he was sweet, then turn around and try to dab me when we up in the street. I can't show no love for a hater, a traitor. Showing fake love, see you later. I can't stand the fake love. Where the love go? Where'd it go? Where the love go? I can't stand the fake love. Where the love go? Where'd it go? I can't show no love, can't show no love. No love from me. Yeah, I can't show nobody fake love, cause I've been in my bag lately, getting cash, baby. So don't you act like you been here from day one. Graduated from a simp, turned into a big boss. Now she see me getting rich, cause I'm about to take off. Yeah, my life is like a movie, this is only take one. Yeah, and I ain't got no time for no one with fake love.
I can't really get it right. I've been so alone, honestly, I think at night. I can't really fade, you can see it in my eyes. Deep down in my soul, you can see my despise. Running up, we got to gain, and it's freaking suicide. I don't really understand why we gotta fight, how come we can't coincide? Why she really tryna cheat, yeah, she really wanna get a freaking man inside. If I really find out, little baby, I might have to make your mama cry. Ooh, I'm so tired. She broke my heart apart, my heart on fire. Make it hit notes on Mariah, my heart on fire. See, I'm a man, we cannot cry. Too much I can't change, but I cannot change for you. And they know I've been supporting, even though I know that they about to hate on you. I know that I'll go insane, if I go insane, then I'll bust a brain for you. I don't even gotta beg, baby girl, I really gotta eat your cake for you. Too much on my mind, I've been going out. Too much in my life, and it's getting rough. Baby, I understand, you just want the cuffs. You just really want the less you never really loved. See, you a liar. You think that you live like a princess, not a squire. All my homies, we got the bands, we not for hire. I got Nick Cannons in the back, you not Mariah. Told him to move, She cannot make all these plans, move how I move, And if you don't wanna smash, do what I do. I know you capping, you smashed the crew. Yeah, right down on my roads, I can't really get it right. I've been so alone, honestly, I think at night. I can't really fade, you can see it in my eyes. Deep down in my soul, you can see my despise. Running up, we got to gain, and it's freaking suicide. I really understand why we gotta fight, how come we can't coincide? She really tryna cheat, yeah, she really wanna get a freaking man inside. If I really find out, little baby, I might have to make your mama cry. I'm tired.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to RSCast. We're back with the week 2 roundup. My name is Merritt, and joining alongside me, Kingsman Gas to my left and Bidda to my right. How's your evening go, gentlemen?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Merritt looks like he's in heaven, or somewhat. But, you know, you look like you enjoy yourself.
Yep. Oh my god, why am I disconnected?
Oh, I love my mic issues. Come on. But anyways, here we are. We are back with the week. Merritt has ascended from heaven to save us tonight. He is filling in for the wonderful Jasper, who finds himself asleep at the time of 7:26 BST, which I'm not going to complain about ski schedules, but to be honest, it's very interesting. But in myself, I'm doing good. Merritt, how are you doing today?
You're doing great. Here on short notice here to, fill in the gap, save the day, and bring you guys the weekly roundup for RSCast. We've already lost around 25 minutes, so why not just get underway to the weekly roundup, starting off with Prospect. So, take it away, gentlemen.
Well, I'll do you the honours of starting in Glacies. That's how we run here, and that's how it's going to stay. Terra are going to get a 4-0 onto Fearless Echo as they go 2-6 this week, but they weren't the only team to go 2-6. Caro and Limousine follow alongside, with also Alta. A lot of teams following a trend of 2-6, it seems, this week. Not many teams seeming to avoid the 2-6 slump. Palmists going 6-2 after their sweep, and also Terra going 7-1. They'll be your big dogs this week, going 7-1 and extending their push. They were in 4th last week, so I wonder where they'll end up. But a lot of 2-6s this week that really divide the bottom half from the top half of the table.
Yeah, but what about the Ignis conference?
Well, to start things off, we only see one sweep for the Ignis side, and that's going to come from the side of Jabatus. And as you can see, a 6-2 week for them. They got a 4-0 sweep onto Mosaic, and then also a 2-2 draw onto Tartarus. So it's a good week for them, a good positive week number 2. Hopefully looking to follow through in that third week. But Obscurity as well, going 6-2, and they did it in 2 wins. The only team in Ignis to get 2 wins under the belt. They got a 3-1 victory over Livens and also a 3-1 victory over Anubis. So for them, it's a great way to get themselves back into the league. But the one team that didn't quite get the performance as they were looking for is going to be Dwarves, going 2-6. They lost 3-1 to Tartarus and then also followed through with another loss, 3-1 to Anubis. So they'll be looking to regain and bounce back after that. And surprised to only see one sweep, just showing the competition that Ignis does have to offer here in the Prospect tier.
Yep, and now looking at how those results shook up the standings, Kingsman, what's Glaciers looking like?
Well, Glacies, I talked about a lot of 2-6s, and I talked about the 7-1 team. They will be sat on top. It is Terra. They're on 11 wins, and Serene Taisho tied alongside them in that level. That 69% win rate. I already know chat is going to be pointing that out at some point in time. But in that third place would be Palmis. They stand alone on 10 wins, with Hot Metal and Tomfoolery coming as your 4th and 5th teams, with Caro 6th on 8 wins, and then Fearless just outside of the top 6 with 7 wins. And then your 2-6 teams this week, you have Alta moving down into that 8th place. So Primordial coming up off the bottom into 9th with their 5 wins, and Limousine find themselves dead last with 4 wins out of the 16 games.
Yep, the reigning Prospect champs, not with the hottest of starts, but Bidda, what is Ignis looking like?
Well, with a hefty 34 goal difference, Jabatus in first, 13-3. Dominant so far in the opening couple of weeks. But talking about dominance, we also have another few teams who have barely dropped games. Obscurity in second with 12 wins for themselves, followed by Propel in third with 12 alongside them, with just 1 goal difference separating both teams apart. But in fourth, we're going to have Tartarus as well on 11, 1 game behind for that top 2 spot, and then creeping for first, just a series away. but we start to see a little bit of a gap in 5th place. We see Dwarves with 8 wins for themselves. Despite a negative week, they still remain positive and up in the top half. Cardinals in 6th with 6 wins for themselves, and then Newborn and Anubis joint 7th there with 5 wins apiece respectively. And then Livent and Mosaic will be tied at the bottom with 4 wins each, but for the bottom half teams, it's just 1 series away to crawl themselves into that top 4, top 5 position.
Looking great there for the teams at the top, but how will these teams continue to stay on top? Having a look at the fixtures now. Kingsman, what's going on in Glaciers next week?
Well, big week for down the lower end of the table. Primordial have Alta and Limousine. That is a real bottom table scrap for teams really looking to establish themselves as a mid-table team, or teams that are going to be found them stuck at the bottom. None of those 3 have won a series yet. So maybe this week is their week, because Alta, they also have Terra. Terra on a tear, some might say. I know, don't all laugh at once. But one team to still be unbeaten is Serene Taisho, and they have quite a week in hand. They play Hot Metal in 4th place. They play Tomfoolery in 5th. So they're really going to need to establish themselves from the rest of the pack this week.
Now moving on to the Ignis fixtures, Bidder, take it away.
Well, we gotta fight down the bottom. We'll start down there to shake things up. Livens versus Mosaic. Both teams haven't found a victory so far this season, so maybe we get a winner there, unless we get a draw, as some teams would love to do last season. But another fixture as well, we have Newborn versus Anubis as we creep up the table a little bit more. Anubis have 1 victory under the belt, but with 3 losses. And Newborn still yet to find a victory with 3 losses with 1 draw. So it's going to be a battle for those 2 as well. Maybe finding Newborn's first victory, or maybe another tally to the drawing sector, or extending that losing streak that they're on right now. But, well, actually, they did just end it with a draw side. But Obscurity versus Tartarus. For Obscurity, it's a big game to hold up the top with Tartarus. Only 1 game separates them. And for that top 4 shake-up that, you'll eventually see, it's going to be massive. And you're going to see how close, well, I say eventually see, you already saw it. You know what? My brain is boggling me right now. But the final matchup that I picked out was Propel versus Tartarus as well. Propel are in that top 4 as well, alongside of all those teams. And the whole top 4, Jabatus, Obscurity, Propel, and Tartarus, are all unbeaten. They all have 3 wins and all have 1 draw. So all of their matchups are going to be massive to see if the records change. And obviously one of them has to maybe lose or get a draw that will shake up that top 4 and maybe potentially see those lower teams make, the gap tighten just a little bit more.
Yep, a big week ahead for the teams at the top. But now, moving up a tier into the Challenger, we're going to have a look at the results from week 2. So again, Kingsman, what's happening in Glacies?
Well, Glacies tier, a lot of draws as you can see. Not many 3-1s this week, only 2 of them coming out from Disorder and Shrine. And Disorder, they go 7-1 this week. Massive week for them. And Oracles find themselves on the receiving end of a sweep and a giving end of a sweep. So, I mean, they can't be complaining. A 4-4 week is not bad. And Apprentices go 7-1 as well against Oracles and Fearless Delta. They've been a team, they were at the top last week by some margin, I believe. So, actually, no. I was wrong. It was Disorder. They went perfect last week, and they only dropped 1 game. 1 game in 2 weeks is definitely something to be gloating about. But teams on the lower end of the side, you have Neptunium, who go 2-6. They get a draw into Mischief, but they did get swept by Disorder. And Fearless Delta, who are going to be on the end of 2-3-1s from arguably 2 of the better sides in the division.
Yep, and now moving on to Ignis, Bidder, take it away once again.
Maybe I should rename them to Fearless Disappointment. I'm only joking. I love the players. I love the team. But starting off in the Ignis Conference, I mean, you have to start off with the 8-0 week. You can't miss it. 2 of the 3 sweeps come from 1 team, and it comes from the side of Pardas. They get a 4-0 sweep onto Crusaders, and also a 4-0 sweep of what I like to call Calpol. It's very good for you. But an 8-0 week for Pardus is a beautiful, beautiful week too for them, but also another good week is going to be for Feather. They go 6-2 for themselves with 2 3-1s. They got a 3-1 onto Elves and a 3-1 onto Canaans as well. No sweeps on the board for them, but hey-ho, they got 2 victories on the board. That's all that matters for them. But the one team that I do have to pick out is Continuum. They go 2-6 this week. They lose 3-1. What? This is Challenger. I'm sorry, Buddha's brain is fried, okay? It's the same franchise, wrong team name. Impulse, sorry. 2-6. They got a 2-2 draw on to Eclipse and then got swept by Kadaho 4-0. And obviously for Impulse, week 1, they got 2 victories off the bat, and obviously to lose both in the next week, definitely raising a little bit of concerns and maybe to question what happened compared to that first week.
Yeah, but now seeing how those results affected the standings over in Glacis, Kingsman, take us away.
I did kind of spoil it for you. Disorder, they are 15 out of 16 wins. Are we seeing a repeat of the team, the Symbiotes Challenger team? I believe it might have been something different to Disorder. I've forgotten. Are we going to see the same from the Primordials team that tore it up 2 seasons ago? There we go. I'm on a roll now. As now Apprentices split 13 and Mischief on 10. There's a gap of 7 game wins between Disorder and the playoff spots. They are absolutely cruising through the league at the minute, and a very tight mid-table seems to be showing up here. You have Gelb V in 4th place. You have Shrine in 5th, all on 8 wins. You have Masai, Serene, Neptunium, and Oracles, all within 1 win of each other, with 6 and 5 wins amongst each other, and only one of them having a positive goal difference. There's only 4 positive goal differences in this thing. 3 of them the top 3, and Masai hold it as well. 60 goals and 53 goals scored in week 1 is impressive. And then right down at the bottom, I'm not going to rub it in, but it's Fearless Delta on 3 wins.
Oh, yikes. Bidder, well, your team's not doing great, but how are the teams doing in Ignis?
Hey, I see the comments in chat. I'm not worried. We haven't played main roster yet. We had FA subs. It's fine. It's been a rough start, but hey ho. Anything's going to happen. Hey, Emeritus, hold your horses there. But anyway, to start things off, Feather up the top. 4 series wins, and that's all. The Zeros are looking to stay like that. 14-2 for them. Pardus in 2nd with an 8-0 week. They'll be 13-3 in 2nd. And Kadaho in 3rd and now 11-5. But 1 game behind them will be Eclipse on 10. Then just 1 game behind them is going to be 2 teams, Impulse and Elves, fighting to crawl to that top 4 spot. They're both sides are going to be on 9 wins respectively. And then aka Calpol in 7th. They're going to be 6-10 alongside with Canaans. But then we see quite a gap already. Normally we see, a couple game gap, not, within a series, but more than a series gap. We see Orcas and Crusaders 1-15. You want to roast a team being at the bottom, at least roast teams that are 1-15. Come on, boys. You know better than this. But both of those sides are going to be looking to find a response going into week 3.
Yep, they'll be looking for a response, but fixtures are the main part of that. But before we get to that, Kingsman, what are the Glacis matchups next week?
Well, down the bottom, Fearless have a chance to maybe get anything but a loss. They play Oracles in 9th place, and they also play Gelv in 4th. So it's a week where they can definitely get something out of it, but once again, the top 2, they have 2 sets of tough games. Apprentices have Serena, who are looking to push into the top 6, and Neptunium, who are looking to push into the top 6 as well. So 2 big games for them to try and deny them. And Disorder, they have Mischief in 3rd place. A really good result needed for Mischief to keep up with the boys clearly running away. And Gelb V, they play Disorder tonight. A massive game there. And another game tonight will be Shrine Oracles. Oracles need a win to try and kickstart their season and put them provisionally in the top 6.
Yep, and Feather over in Ignis trying to replicate last season's success, but who do they have this week, Bidder?
Well, to start off with the 2 games tonight, we've got Crusaders versus Sepastil. See, you know what? Screw this. Calpol. Yeah, I'm staying with Calpol, man. So we've got those 2 teams playing tonight. We've also got Feather versus Eclipse as well. And that's actually a big matchup. Only a whole series between them, but that's between 1st and 4th. So if Eclipse can take any games or maybe take a victory, it's definitely going to shake things up for those top teams. They're going to be looking for a big week, especially for Pardus as well. They've got on paper, a pretty decent week. Obviously, they're a challenging team. They got to play Impulse, a team who's, positive, so they could be looking to make some ruckus, but they will also play the side of Orcus, who are quite down there, only finding one victory. So for Pardus, on paper, hey, that's another easy win. But for Orcus, this could be a massive upset. This is finally a time for them to really prove themselves and, get that revenge. But the other fixtures we've got coming up as well, we do have Elves with a big matchup. They play Canaans. Elves holding that playing spot with a 3-game lead onto 7th. A big victory there. They can really start to maybe, make that gap for the playing spot this early on, which we rarely do see in the big opening weeks of league play. But other than that, obviously, it's just going to be Crusaders looking to get back. They're 1-15 as well. They've got to play Canaans as well, so that's a good opportunity for them. But they also do play my favourite team, Calpol. So they play both teams who are 6-10. So for Crusaders, if you're them, you're looking at a positive week here, or it might be chalk the roster and change it up.
Yep, and now moving on to the rival tier. Kingsman, take it away with the Glacis Roundup.
Well. Once again, we get given a few more sweeps our end, but sadly, it's only going to be one, and that comes out from Mystics. They get a 4-0 sweep onto the Sanctum, who had a 1-7 week. Not looking so good for them. Finally, we might not see a fearless team on the bottom here, but Mystics will be your big boys, going 7-1 here. They get a 3-1 onto Mirage and a 4-0 onto Sanctum, as previously mentioned. But one draw, one sweep, and the rest is just 1-3, 3-1, 3-1, 1-3. A lot of 1s and 3s, a lot of big results coming out for teams, a lot of 4-4s as well, but Serene Meiji did end up going 6-2, and the 2 to go 5-3, well, which is very tough considering there was only there's only one team. Never mind, I can't read my own notes. That is a good sign. Considering there's only one draw, there's only one team that went that 5-3, and that would be Fearless Charlie. They were on the bottom last week, so I wonder if we do see them move up from the bottom.
That is a good question. But what happened?
Yeah, I agree, Maris. But starting off in English, you're just cutting out, don't worry. But starting off in English, we're going to start with Calico. They go 6-2. We've got to talk about the sweep. A 4-0 sweep onto Onka. A great result for them to get that ball rolling, and they're definitely going to be happy about that one for themselves, especially when you see the standings. But they also get a result of 2-2 onto Sentinels as well, so a respectable 6-2 week for Calico. And then Tizok going 5-3 as well. They got a 3-1 victory onto Continuum, who find themselves to continue that streak and lose 3-1 to Ash. But then Tizok also got a 2-2 draw onto Erebos, so a respectable week for Tizok as well, making themselves positive overall. And the team that I've got to pick out here, the same reason as I did for Challenger, I swear I'm not, targeting the franchise. It's just coincidence. But Continuum, they go 2-6, losing both games as mentioned to Tizok and Ash. The main reason I picked them out is same with the Challenger also. Week 1, they came out strong with 2 victories, but then week 2, it's completely tumbled into 2 losses. So things need to be looked at there to maybe even clinch a draw for next time for that situation. But other than that, we see another sweep as well from the Onka side onto Norns and a few draws to round things up.
Yep, and Kingsman, there are a lot of 3-1s over on your side. How did those affect the standings?
Well, the standings have really been shaken up, but not in the way you'd expect. Serene Meiji on top with 12 wins after their good week. Mystics also move up into second after their rock start of a week. But Axelot's back in rival. He is going to be sat in third place on 10 wins. Still 1 game clear of Yoruba, who moved down to that 4th spot. Another move up will be Uranium, who move up into 5th spot. They are tied with Anarchy and Mirage, who are on 8 wins together, and then there's a 2-game gap. Finally moving up off the bottom is going to be Fearless Charlie. I can see Buddha smirking through the little things he sees his team finally not on the bottom. But Sanctum, they did go 1-7, and that will suffer them as they sit on the bottom with Montbelliard, who are only below on goal difference.
Yep, pleasant surprise for Buddha, but moving on to the Ignis standings. What you got for us?
Well, to shake things up, at the start of off, it is Tissot, my favourite franchise for team names. They're going to be at the top with 11 wins for themselves and a two-way tie for second. Onka and Sentinels both going to be there with 10 wins. Onka did get swept and they're still up there. That's how much of a lead of a good week one they had. But in fourth is going to be Raiju creeping up with 8 wins for themselves, with 3 other teams. Caligo come up to 5th, Erebos into 6th, and then Continuum will drop down into 7th with that 2-6 week on 8 wins. All 4 teams really close to go up to top 3, but very close to drop down into that bottom 3, where we'll see Ash in 8th with 7 wins for themselves. We'll see a Nightfall in 9th with 6 wins. We see 9th place with 6 wins and a -4 goal difference. That's when you know the conference is very competitive and very stacked. And in 10th, we will unfortunately see Norns there, but only 2 games behind with 4. So as always, it's just one series and any of these teams can shake things up.
Yep, I'm not sure things get much tighter over there, but let's have a look at what these teams will have to going up against this week. Starting off with Glaciers, Kingsman.
Well, Journeyman, they are on a bit of a downslide into obviously that 3rd place spot, but they have a chance at redemption this week. They play Serene Meiji, who are yet to lose or draw a game. So they've only gone 3-1 in all their games. So the 3-1 Merchants, or can they be dethroned finally by Axos' team, who took 2 pretty tough losses this week after going completely perfect in the first week? Only time we'll find out. We know momentum is a big thing in Rocket League. Then another few games, you've got Fearless Charlie playing Mirage at 7th versus 8th. Fearless will want to look to close that gap up to the top 6 and potentially push into the top 6 by the end of the week, but that'll be pretty hard considering they play the high-flying Mystics, who have gone 7-1 this week. But another game that I wanted to pick up for the top 6 was Anarchy Uranium. Uranium, obviously, they're both on 8 wins combined and they're fighting for 5th place. So we'll find out which team really wants that top seeding more. There we go.
Yep, but your conference looking very close. How the fixtures affect things. Let's hear it.
Well, tonight you've got Norns versus Caligo and Onka versus Nightfall. Definitely a couple of series to look out for, but the 2 main teams to watch out for are the 2 teams who have just come off 2 losses in week number 2. So they are literally going to be the main focus to see if they can rebuild, if they can bounce back. Obviously, we've got Norns playing Caligo and Nightfall, so a pretty good week for them. Caligo mid-table, Nightfall literally just above them by 2 wins. And then for the side of Continuum, they've got to play Erebos and Raiju. Obviously the same situation. Erebos just 1 position ahead of them, just like Norn's situation, but also play Raiju. Actually, no, I lied. Raiju and Erebos are literally, they're in the 4-way tie. So for Continuum, that's literally probably the closest and biggest week for a team. They could literally either go up to 4th or stay in 7th depending on results. But other than that, we do have Tizok playing up against Sentinels as well. 1 game separates the 2 in that top 3 fight. Despite Sentinels only having 1 victory, they are in 3rd. So impressive to say, even if they are not performing, they still see out for the draw. So for Tizok, it's going to be a tough challenge for them as they are unbeaten as of to speak with Sentinels. But other than that, we do have 1 more team that I did see earlier. If it jogs my memory, which it probably won't. Yes, it will. Caligo versus Erebos as well. I talked about the other 2 teams fighting for that 4-way tie. Well, there's just another fixture. Caligo and Erebos, they're in that 4-way tie as well. So we could really see kind of, that 4-way tie mix up. And I think that's probably one of the main focuses alongside with Norns and Continuum.
Yep, a good amount of fixtures to look out for, but now moving on to the Elite Roundup. Kingsman, once again, go first.
Well, Elite, it gave us some very interesting fixtures down in the Glaciers end. We saw a lot more 4-0s than the other tiers coming out from Temple. And you know what? I haven't seen an 8-0 week yet this week, which actually shows how competitive it is this week. But we have seen Deception go 7-1. They'll be your high flyers this week. And Temple and Bladesmiths both got a draw with each other after sweeping their previous team. But a team that is on the wrong side of the things at the minute is Serene. They go 1-7 this week, playing Saturnia and Bladesmiths. Obviously, Bladesmiths are a very strong team. But still, going 1-7 is not the greatest, even if it is in week 2. But obviously, loads can be amended. There's our teams that have been pushing further forward. For example, Fearless, they got 2 draws this week. They went 4-4, one of many. Get 2 draws alongside Severance, who went 4-4. So we're seeing a lot of equality in the scores this week. A lot of 4-4s. So it's very interesting to see how the table shifts top to bottom.
Yep, and moving on to the Ignis Roundup. Bidder, take it away.
Well, what can I say? My Season 11 Dark Horses, Kingsman. They're here. They've got it again. It's not 8-0, but it's 7-1. It's the one and only Tigris. They got a 4-0 sweep onto Carbo. Beautiful result for them. And they got a 3-1 victory onto It's Kotal. We're going to go with that. Smashed out the park. Almost an 8-0 week, but still a very, very good week for them. Also, another team with a great week is going to be Holdra as well, with a 6-2 week. A double victory, no sweep, but 2 3-1s. They did get 1 3-1 onto Velocity, and the other was to Scorch. A great week for them. And the other team that I had to pick out was Embry. They didn't, they're just in the middle of the pack. Nothing too miraculous, but nothing disappointing. A 4-4 week for them. A 2-2 draw onto Velocity and a 2-2 draw onto Carbo. But it is a little bit of a downgrade compared to their first week. In that opening week of league play, they did start off with 2 strong series wins. And Kinetic seemed pretty confident about it. So to go 4-4, I'll see that as a downgrade. But other than that, only 1 sweep here in the Ignis Conference. So we do love to see this competition.
Yep, and let's see how those results affected the standing. And once again, starting off with Glaciers Kingsman, what do you got?
Well, I said I wanted to see the gap between the teams, but Deception and Bladesmiths have closed up the Temple. 1 game gap between Deception and Temple, and 13-12. And Bladesmiths, they knocked Fearless out of the top 3, 10-9, but a healthy gap developing between the top 3. And then Fearless, they will be standalone on 9, potentially pushing again for the top 3, and Zulu fall down as well to 7 wins. But Saturnia and Severance, they round out the top 7 with 7 wins, your top 6 fighting spots. And Prophets and Andrew, they stay in 8th and 9th with 5 wins. Not great weeks for them, but not too bad. And Serene, I talked about them 1-7. They'll find themselves at the bottom of the table with 5 wins, but tied with Andrew and Prophets still.
Yep, hotly contested towards the bottom of the table. But what is Ignis looking like?
Well. I just want people to look at the goal difference real quick. 36, and then second place just has 4. Amazing. Tigris just blowing it out of the park right now in first place. 13 wins for themselves. We're going to have Holdra in second, going 11-5 after their good week. And Embry will be in third. They'll be on 10 wins, just a game behind. Starting to build a little bit of a gap, though, for the teams below. Thanatos will be in fourth with 8th, alongside with Carbo, who will be in 5th. Joining them with 8 wins. But Vanguards will be your team in 6th place. They will be holding it with 7 wins, but it's not safe. It's not secure. You've got 3 teams behind, all on 6 wins. It's Kotal, Velocity, and Darkness. Pretty impressive stuff from the conference. But down at the bottom will be Scorch in 10th, but only on 5 wins. It's only 1 game behind to get the ball rolling, and only a series to even climb for that 4th spot. So Ignis looking to shake things up with the week 3 fixtures.
Yep, Tigris there, continuing less than a goal per game is absolutely incredible. But moving on to the fixtures for this week, Kingsman, what is the Glaciers looking like?
Well, the game today sets the bottom of the table standard, really. You have Andrew Severance? Sorry, I've looked at the thing below it. It's Serene they play today, and it is 10th versus 9th, 10th versus 9th, but they're all on 5 wins, tied on goal difference as well. So there's nothing really that can separate these teams at the moment. But a big game towards the top of the table. Phyllis Bravo, they have a massive week in hand. They played Deception in second, who have come off a 7-1 week, and Bladesmiths, who are a very strong team in general, getting a sweep last week and a draw onto the leaders. So nothing to be tutted at from Fearless, and they are really going to show if they are a top 3 team or not, whether they can push on finally. But Deception, they have Severance as well. Severance looking to push up into 6th, and they have Zulu and Deception. What a week to show yourself as a top 6 team other than this week. But all round, it's very close towards the bottom of the table. The results will shift the bottom 5 or bottom 6 majorly.
Yep, and Bidder, what about Ignis?
Well, the opening 2 games for tonight, we'll see Velocity versus Tigris. On paper, probably a comfortable victory there for Tigris, but in the other series, we had Thanatos versus Kotal as well. For Thanatos, a pretty big game to kind of step that gap up in the top 4, but for its Kotal, it's a chance to get themselves into that top half with a positive result. But other than that, we have very few other fixtures as well. We also have Darkness playing up against Scorch, both sides 9th and 10th, 1 game separating the two. So the victor of that, if there is one, will be looking to walk away with a little climb on the standings depending on results. We'll see Carbo go up against Vanguard as well. Both sides 5th and 6th. And yet again, 1 game separating the two. So going to be a big dogfight there. But Carbo will also play Thanatos as well, who are 1 place above them, but tied on the same wins. So for Carbo, a positive week here could really shake things up, but really good positive week. We're talking about 6-2 or more. They could really maybe sneak their way for a top 2 fight, depending on other results. But other than that, we have to look at Embry as well. Embry play 1st and 2nd. They play Tigris and Holdra. They've just come off a 4-4 week, and they had a lot of confidence after week 1. So for Embry here, if they can find a positive week, then they will be cementing themselves for the moment a top 3 team, fighting for those playoff spots already, alongside with Holdra and Tigris, who look to hold the line, and Tigris and Embry looking to stay undefeated.
Yeah, but now moving on to the Master Tier, looking at the results from the past weekend. Once again, Kingsman, start us off.
Well, we see 1 sweep this week, and it's going to be from IOV. They get Illusion in a 4-0 fashion and sends Illusion to a 2-6 after picking up a draw with Haven. 2 of the draws picked up were by Haven this week. 2 of the 3. The other one was picked up by Phoenix and Dominion. But both teams in Phoenix and Dominion managed to go 5-3, beating out Heck and IOV. The only team to sweep getting beaten as well, making sure that Dogon will be the best performing team, going 6-2 this week. It's not the greatest set of results for them. Obviously, 2 wins, it's still massive for them. But normally we've seen 7-1 and 8-0s. But this week it's just showing how close Master is compared to what it was last season. Teams really putting on the work, and it does show with the 3-1s here and how close it is. But your best performing team going 6-1 is a good result, and I wonder what'll put them in the league standings.
Yep, I wonder as well, and definitely very close. But what about Ignis?
Well. We almost had an 8-0 week, but it was dropped by 1 game. It's going to be Nox going 7-1. They got a 4-0 sweep onto Hades, and on paper, it was pretty much expected. But hey, they didn't drop a game, and that's what really matters. Getting the extra win, that matters. But they dropped their 1 game to Draugr. They do beat them a 3-1, but it does defeat their 8-0 week. So for Draugr, they find some success out of a loss. But for Nox, a 7-1 week. Then on to Transcend as well, who went 5-3 in their week. They went off with a 3-1 victory onto Fenrir, which definitely shakes things up, as you will see. And then a 2-2 result as well onto Gladiators. So overall, a pretty good week for them, looking to continue some of that momentum. But Abyss as well, also going 5-3. They got a 3-1 victory onto Montezuma, and then a 2-2 victory onto Fenrir, which obviously will make Fenrir going that 3-5 week, which is definitely, of course, not the results they were looking for, but things shaken up. We see 2 sweeps. The other one, I believe, it could have been an FF, I think. I know Leo had one. I don't know if Kingsman could confirm if it was Draugur's series. Yeah, it was. It was the FF. It was the FF, so we'll never know how it would truly battle out until the next matchup between them. But for Draugr, hey, I guess that's some positive to take out of it. But only seeing a couple of sweeps and 1 being to an FF, that's what you like to see. We love to see the competitive spirit between these teams. A lot of 3-1s and fighting 2-2s.
Yep, you certainly love to see when a tier is close, and we get to see it laid out in the table. Kingsman, what is Glaciers looking like?
Well, I've been reading chat, and it turns out Dominion have been playing their sub-games these first 2 weeks, and they're still 11 wins up. So I wonder what this main roster is going to be with Harvey coming back into the roster. But Dogon, they will be sat in the lead with their 6-2 week. Dominion, they fall down to 2nd. And IOV, they do sit in 3rd, but there are some roster changes that have been made there. So potentially a bit of a shift into the next week. Heck, though, they move up into 4th on 8 wins. They stand alone on 4. And then there's 5th through 8th, Serene, Haven, Illusion, and Phoenix. All on 7 wins. So, a lot of movement down there, with Messias on 6 and Fearless Alpha sat on 5. Buddha's been saying before stream they've not had the best start, but it's not as bad as the Fearless Alpha curse season.
Oh, yeah, don't put that in my mind.
Yeah, and what a surprise, another fearless team good to the bottom, but
So funny!
to the moving on to the Ignis standings, Fiddle, is it looking like?
Only get talked about when I'm down bad, never when I'm doing good. I see how it is, everyone. I see how it is. But starting things off, it's going to be Nox up in first place. 13-3, all 4 victories, no draws, no losses. In second place, we'll see Draugr as well with 10 wins. But it's going to be tied alongside with Transcend after going a 5-3 week. It will put them in that fight for the top 2. And then we're going to have Abyss on 9 alongside with Fenrir, both in 4th and 5th. And then Infinity in 6th, holding that spot there with 7 wins. But with them just toe-to-toe is going to be Leo. Despite with an FF loss for their side, they still look to contend up in that mid-table section. But Montezuma in 8th place with 6 wins. Gladiators in 9th with the 5. And then Hades down at the bottom with 4. But it's only 1 game behind to get the ball rolling. And just a really good series to really get it going and out of 10th spot. So it's looking pretty close here. And Nox looking to be... to dethrone the Draugr champions. Maybe we're going to see a nice little fight at the top table this season.
Yep, looking forward to the fixtures for this week then, and once more, Kingsman, what is Glacius looking like for the week ahead?
If I speak about the Draugr roster, I will be in big trouble. So how about let's not go there then? Right, we have 2 games tonight. Dogon versus Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix near down the bottom. And Dogon looking to push forward, that'll be massive. And Phoenix also plays Serene tonight. Serene are going to be using an FA sub. I saw Serenity post it in the franchise ads. I got pinged because I'm a master FA, Look at me self-promoting myself, obviously. But the bigger games will be Fearless Messias this week. 2 bottom table teams. And once again, Fearless have the chance to push away from the bottom. Fearless teams really need some good results to give Buddha a comeback for next week when we say laugh at his teams and go, hold on a minute, well, we've done this and this and this. But the only other game I picked up on was Heck IOV. 3rd versus 4th, Heck will be looking to close the gap. And what will the IOV team swap do to them? Will it propel them forward or will it propel them downwards?
Yep, and having a look at the chat here, we already have some results from Glacius. Dogon managed to get the sweep over Phoenix, and right now in Game 4, Serene Nara 2-1 up against Phoenix. So with that in mind, going over to the Ignis fixtures rather, Buddha, what have you got?
Well, the one series today, we actually have a result for that one as well. Nox did beat Abyss 3-1. So for Nox, 5 victories on the board. And if they win their next series, they already guarantee first place no matter the results that Draugr get. So Nox looking to hold a very comfortable week 3 into their next series, which will be against Transcend, which is actually a pretty big matchup. We talked about earlier, Transcend in 3rd place. They haven't dropped a series in a loss, 2 draws and 2 wins. So definitely going to be a tough series for both sides. But if a victor can come out on top, then we'll either see a really close top 2 or a very close top 3, depending on the result. But other fixtures that we've got to look at, mainly got to look at Hades and Gladiators to bring themselves back into this league. This week, shall I say. Gladiators only 1 draw on the board alongside with Hades, but for Hades, they do have to play Infinity and Draugr. Obviously, Draugr, one of the top teams, one of the toughest series they'll face, but also Hades will have to face Infinity. They're a mid-table team, but they are one of those teams that you can never count out. They could really come out swinging if you don't give them enough respect. So Hades definitely could be looking for something here. And Infinity's other series will be against Draugr. And that's actually one matchup that I would love to watch. It's got some players on there that I just love to see play. And to see them go against each other, I think it would be a great series. No matter the result, individual games for sure will be close. But we will have Abyss and Leo. 2 games separate them apart. Obviously, Leo, they did get a victory in one of their series despite a FF loss. So this week will definitely be a week to see how can they do when they have 2 series to play after a couple of weeks of a warm-up. But other than that, obviously every other series looking to be detrimental to really shape the standings up, as it's only a series in it to switch things up.
Yep, some great matches there, but moving on to Premier, that kicks off this week, so we're going to have a look at the fixtures for the first week of play, and starting with Glaciers once more, Kingsman. Let's have a look at the matches.
Well, tonight we have Team Serene Visionary. Honestly, I don't know much about Prem, so I couldn't give you a prediction on that. I will tell you Team Serene is Berserk, Hodge, and Bitson, and Visionaries, Lorcus, Freddy, and Beastie. So if anyone in chat wants to tell me which one's better in that one, I would be greatly appreciated. And you have Solace versus Feliday in that one. Solace containing of Revo, Dansku, and Coco. And Feliday, Sapphics, Lexa, and Porsus. So once again, another very interesting roster there. Symbiotes, they always pick up a good Prem team. This season they got Emerald, Icy, and Trebula. Two of them being one game away from day 3 in RLCS. This one, so I've had to put money on it. I would say it would be a Symbiotes win now. Obviously, Fearless team coming together very late on. And Team Hosky division, that has been rescheduled for next week due to one of the division players being on holiday. But yeah, that is all your Glacies fixtures for week 1 of Premier.
Yep, and Ignis, we have all the matches being played this week. Buddha, tell us about them.
Well, to start the week off, you got 2 games starting tomorrow. We'll have Momentum go up against Domination. For the Momentum roster, it's going to be Alayu, NKS, and Daiki. And for the Domination side, it will be the side of Kokun, Gogi, and Richmond. Be a great face-off there. And then for Kronos versus Forg, we're going to see Kronos, Polar, Clean, Evade, and then Spoods as well. A great roster there. So we'll see how they face up against Forg, which does contain of the roster led Zamberg and Rexo, a team that's been around together. They've got that chemistry, so it's definitely going to be a series I'm going to be looking out for to see how they can face up in their first week this season for the Premier Tier. But we're going to have Ox Gaming versus Centurions as well for the Ox franchise. We're going to have Icon, Meaty, and Nice. And then, good old Trixie as sub. He's made his way to the Premier Tier. Hecky just doing whatever he can, You love to see it. But it's gonna. Will we see Trixie in the first game of the Premier season? We'll see. Maybe not, but hey, I'm happy to play some bets on it. But Centurions, they've got to play that side, which does contain the roster of Azza, Ols, Rafa, and Trin. Definitely names that people know around the RSC and just around kind of the scene of Rocket League. So definitely, it's going to be great to see how that roster can commence here in the opening week. But the final matchup is going to be RQS Esports, who do represent the Shadow Esports franchise. It's going to be Rico, Badnez, Zan, and I want to say Tony, but it's just with a H in there. Apologies if I pronounce it wrong. But for the final roster for this week, Shaman Esports, the team that I can't even talk, consists of Ale, Rise Fox, Eugen, and Eagles. So look forward to these matchups. As you can see, they have been scheduled and they're all going to be played within the next 2 days in the Ignis Conference.
Yep, and now we move on to the franchise standings. So this is the culmination of every single team's performance across all 5 tiers put into the leaderboard. So, want to take the bottom 10 teams?
I got it, brother. Don't worry. I see Phyllis down there. I got you. I'll spare the pain. 20th place, you have Ox Gaming. They're on 29. They are tied with Fort Templar. Fort Templar had a brilliant season in the franchise standings last season, but are not seeming to find their way. But like Fearless, they're on 30 wins. So still a big gap to 11th place, but still a lot to work on. Might have Hades. All the teams that were top last season have fallen down to, well, not all of them, but a lot of them fallen down to the bottom 10 here. Azteca are a newer franchise, and they're finding it is quite tough in 16th place. Visionary, another top side, but they are moving up to 15th. Sanctuary, they were on the bottom last season, and they're finding their way slowly up the franchise standings in week 2, where they are in 14th. Green Phoenix, another top 3 franchise from last season, find themselves in 13th, clearly showing that one challenger team cannot boost you in franchise standings. And DSQ, they returned back into 12th spot, something I'm sure Tavish will not be too disappointed with. And in 11th, you have Team Serene. Not bad to be sat in 11th, but I think about 1 or 2 games away from the top 10, which Buddha will take you away with.
I will indeed. Continuing for the top 10 half in 10th spot. It's going to be the Valkyrie Knights, 1 game ahead, 42 wins as you mentioned. But it's very close. two other teams on 42. System of Solaris in 9th on 42. In 8th, Shaman Esports on 42. Just one series, one game can shake that up. But in 7th place, we're going to see Luna Esports on 43. Up there with Shadow Esports in 6th with 43 as well. Then just above them, Momentum in 5th on 45. One game behind Illusory, who'll be sitting in 4th with a good season so far. Symbiotes in 3rd with 46 alongside with them. And in 2nd place, we are going to see Forg with 49 wins, but with probably the biggest gap that we've seen between one place. Panthera Esports up in 1st place, 56 wins, a 7-game lead. A great start for Panthera Esports this season so far. Looking to keep it going, looking to keep it strong. Can they claim and hold that 1st place franchise spot? But yeah, it's looking shaky. Things are looking good. We're seeing franchises who, were on the other side at the end of last season. They've made their way to that top 10. It's great to see, how competitive from season to season it can really change for any franchise.
Yep, great start to the season for Panthera. But now I believe it is time to move on to our clip and fail of the week. So without further ado, let's have a look at what RSC community did with this week.
Oh wait, no, I've seen this. Wait, no, I've seen this goal. It was Monkey Boy doing.
Cork it. Oh, Cork! Oh!
Well, less clips than we'd like this week, but let's discuss who we think is our winner. So, Buddha, why don't you start us off? Who is your champion?
Well, by looking at Bowler's reaction, I'm going to assume, did they hear me? Maybe not, I don't know. But, they're all pretty good. Well, except for one, because it has Buddha just, throwing himself in defense, just giving a free reset. But hey-ho, it's just Buddha defense at that point. I think I just have to edge out to Bowler, I just have to. I don't know what it is about it, but I just have to. It's in my gut. But that's going to be my vote.
Okay, Kingsman, what about you?
Well, the one that Captain Quark did was hit on my team, so obviously I'm not going to vote that. And well, the first clip's Wolfie, so everyone knows automatically not to vote that one. So by default, it goes to Brad. Wow, what a clip! Honestly, it was a 6 shot. Regardless if Wolfie hit the first shot or not. I think it did have to be the shot. Honestly, was really good.
Yep, I'm gonna have to give it to Bola as well. It's just such a great shot. I think it is the deserved winner, and it looks like the chat agrees as Bola is your clip of the week winner for week number 2. So let's watch the clip back and see why he won. Well, there we have it. Those were your clips of the week, and congratulations to Bola, as he is the winner of this week's clip of the week. And do we have a fail of the week, do you reckon?
Hopefully.
He's go again. You can go, 6. Nice. Oh my god. Fail of the week.
Well, Wolfie. 7th round pick for a reason, boys, eh?
I mean, LFT, right? LFT. There's a reason why in
Oh.
the name, and I just realised the text chat in that game as the clip was
Is that?
playing. There was no toxicity. It was all banter, okay? But yeah, Wolfie, congratulations. You are officially probably the best LFT player in the RSC. So congratulations.
Yeah, round of applause to him. You get that nice like green roll in the server, which will be stuck on you for a whole week. But now, moving on to the weekly awards, where we see the best players from each tier throughout the week. So starting off with Prospect, Kingsman, take it away.
Well, your MVP will be Melty Crispy from the Shadow roster, 518 points per game, and oh my, your finisher will be Aspect with 1.75 goals per game. Your striker will be Moro DK, 54%. That's 1 in 2 shots, a lot better than I can do. And then your playmaker will be Stork with 1.17 assists per game, and then Lucas from the free agents picks up 2.88 saves per game. Maybe he gets some more FA games soon.
Maybe.
Great week all around for Melty Crispy in particular, but moving on to Challenger and Buddha. Well, it's just natural that you take it now.
Whoa! Your MVP! It's going to be Shiny! Look at all Shiny there in first place. 545 points, 63 points per game. Shiny again! Double shine! 1.75 goals per game. And it's going to be Sam Dust. He takes a striker, 90.91% shooting accuracy. And the Wolf is your playmaker. 1.33 assists per game. But none other than Maui is going to be your saviour. 3.38 saves per game. I have to put out Cryptic there in second. A free agent himself coming in for a series with 2.5 saves per game.
I think Maui was just sitting in net for most of the series that week, but Kingsman on to the rival awards.
I will say, everyone, I see everyone complain about ads. Just sub to the channel, then you don't get any ads at all. But your MVP will be Kazir from the Tizok roster, I believe. I've got that wrong, but with 531 points per game. And your finisher will be Tomo with 1.5 saves per game. Tied with Kazir again. He could have gone 2 for 2. And Young Racer will be your striker. 2 FAs popping up there. Gecko will be your playmaker. And your saviour rising up from the Challenger tier to win an award in Rival will be Stingray. 2.5 saves, tied with Shinsho and Toe. So very close in the roster. Rival even.
Now, better take it away for Elite.
The juicy tier. The juiciness. Well, your MVP to start things off for the Elite tier is going to be none other than it is Buddha, right? It's obviously just Buddha, right? 700 points per game. I was flying about the field.
More like 70 points per game.
It's going to be Cram. 577. I heard that, Kingman. I'll get you back. And your finisher is going to be Eagle Crane with 1.63 goals per game. Your striker is going to be Slimy. Sliming those shots away. 57.40% shooting accuracy. But your playmaker is going to be Anthony with 1.5 assists per game. But he makes a reappearance. The Fallen Angels, the free agent, Cram. He's your saviour. 3.75 saves per game. If you need an FA, I think Cram is the guy to go to.
Yeah, I'm noticing a distinct lack of Buddha there. Don't you agree, Kingsman? But moving on to the master players of the week, Kingsman. Let's read them out.
I do agree, and I wonder if we'll see myself here with all zeros, considering I don't play. So, wonder how Buddha's going to roast me there. One thing I will say though, me and Buddha were talking before the stream about our fantasy league, and we're talking about Anthony getting the stats, and he clearly shows that we were right with getting the playmaker this week. But your MVP playing one series and FFing the other is Lutix with 491 points per game, and your finisher with Brad RL. He did also pick up Clip of the Week this week, so that adds another thing to his set of accolades. Milne will be your striker with 52% shooting accuracy. Your playmaker will be Jushu with 1.63 assists per game, and your saviour Wizzo. He picks up 3 saves for himself, enough to knock off Subson and Larson in the second and third place spot.
Yep, unfortunately, we don't have any Premier Players of the Week as that only gets underway this week. But just quickly, I want to mention that the Fantasy League has now started. Mini games are back, but before we get to that, we have the Team of the Week. I definitely didn't forget about that. So, Buddha, who's made the Team of the Week?
Well, to start it off, for your prospect here to represent for the week, it's going to be Moro DK from the Terror side with a great week they had. I believe was 7-1. But from the challenger tier, it's going to be from the Pardus roster. It may be a boom explosion, but his name goes by Shiny. Coming from the Pardus side, he's going to be representing your challenger tier. But for the rival tier from Mystics, the team that have been shooting from league play so far, Dexy, a new name for me that I've seen around here in the RSC, putting out why his name should be heard. But up in the elite tier from Tigris, my dark horses. Oh, I'm going to cry. It's Rollback Noodles. It represented from Tigris.
Legend.
We love to see it. Oh, I'm gonna get the party poppers in a minute. But from the master tier, your clip of the week winner and dominating league play so far, Brad RL from the Nox roster. They're representing for the master tier, a great team of the week. If we could somehow do a 5v5 in Rocket League, this would be a pretty crucial team matching up with 5 other players. Obviously, 1 for each tier, not 5 any players, of course.
Yep, and now I can get on to what I was mentioning. Fantasy League is back. The Mini-Games Committee being hard at work to bring back that fan favourite area of RSC. You know, if you like fantasy football, you know, fantasy Premier League and all that, this is what you want. Fantasy League is like all of that, but with RSC players, and I'm pretty sure the winner gets a nice little prize at the end of the season.
Ooh. Did he get a chocolate bar? I'll be down for that.
I hope so. Yeah, I can't
Yeah, that would be quite a nice
one.
prize, considering the price of them will probably, you know, be quite high soon. But I believe that is all we have this evening, I believe.
Oh, Merritt.
I think so.
Come on, the sponsors, Merritt.
Sponsors! They've won the stream! Come on, Merritts!
Yep. Oh, thank you to our sponsors for making this possible. Rule 1, Brick and Brack, Synthesized Design, Panthera, Badass Esports, Gamers Apparel, and Gamers Beat Cancer.
Well,
any closing remarks?
Maybe Fearless win a series.